IVM.
Hello one, hello all. Welcome to the Diary of the Traveling Professor. And I'm Siddharth Deshmukh, your friendly neighborhood traveling professor, talking from Scotland. Yeah, I'm talking from a place called Inverness in Scotland, and I've just been across to Skye, which is in the Highlands, and on my way to Edinburgh for a bit of a holiday with the fam. The whole idea is that I keep giving my diary notes as and how I travel, and this is one of them. So, from Inverness, Scotland, here is a note on the way in which I'm looking at TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and the rest of the social media janta. In fact, have you guys seen something called The Social Dilemma lately? The Social Dilemma is a very interesting Netflix-oriented documentary which looks at how, social medium like Facebook or any other social medium, Pinterest, whatever, is able to manipulate people behavior and move from predicting people behavior to shaping people behavior in order for them to become consumers for brands. It's a phenomenally well done documentary. It starts off a little slow, but do take a look at it, and the way in which it develops, worth watching, worth certainly watching. In fact, combine that with The Great Hack, another good Netflix-oriented documentary on social media, and you'll see how social media can work its way through, let's say, the elections. And then you suddenly realize, okay, there is possibility that my mind is manipulated through social media. There are a lot of friends of mine who are actually going off Facebook just to get a breath of fresh air. Well, I get my breath of fresh air from Scotland, so I'm still on social media, but maybe I'm just hopelessly addicted. But here's my professorial take on TikTok versus Instagram. Let's start with that, shall we? I get a lot of questions from students saying, hey, TikTok has been banned in India, so will Instagram succeed? And aren't they just one and the same? Basically talking to the same demographic, or maybe, doing the same kind of content, which is more visually driven rather than, something that is driven through text, which is like Facebook or WhatsApp. And I think not. I think people who think that way are maybe missing a crucial point over here, and which is to do with the way in which TikTok's user experience and Instagram's user experience are completely different from each other. And why is that? It is because of the algorithm. Yes, that dratted word again, the algorithm. So what TikTok's algorithm actually does is that it focuses on making sure that, let's say, one person creates a piece of content, and that piece of content can be rapidly copied by other people. Democratization of content, you may call it, bottom-up content creation, you may call it. But content creators are encouraged to replicate content and belong to the world of TikTok. Just notice the word belong over here, right? On the other hand, what does Instagram do? Instagram is focusing all on standing out and being aspirational. So everyone's putting up their best poses, and you are encouraged on Instagram to put up your best poses, to, showcase best parts of your personality, whatever they may be, whether you're cooking or whether you're just looking good or doing some showy off thing, right? So that is the exact opposite of belonging. On Instagram, you're standing out. So that's why I actually feel that Reels on Instagram is not going to be an instant replica of TikTok. Why not? Just like IGTV was not an instant replica of, let's say, YouTube. It's not just vertical and horizontal. There's much more to it than that. I think on TikTok, you belong to a community, while on Instagram, you try to stand out within the community that you already belong. So these are subtle differences, but they actually are the heart and soul of each social media's experience. Now on Facebook, actually the overriding sense is one of familiarity. So you don't want to be a tall poppy on Facebook, and you just want to talk to your own bubble, right? Because essentially your community is made up of family and friends or people that you have known in the past, for most of us, that is. So the way in which you're going to behave on Facebook is going to be very different from TikTok and Instagram. And that's because the algorithm says so. What about Twitter, you might ask? Well, Twitter is very interesting because Twitter actually encourages you to kind of share a breaking news sort of complex. So you have a breaking news sort of complex, which is encouraged by Twitter. You have a belonging concept, okay, encouraged by TikTok. You have a standing out concept encouraged by Instagram. And you have a familiarity concept encouraged by Facebook. So the moment we move from features and functions and into our heads, we soon realize that each social medium actually is delivering on a different purpose, a different reason for its existence. The moment we start looking at social media that way, we start wondering whether, how deep and pernicious they could be if there was somebody with evil intent behind these social media. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd like to keep an open mind. Social media can be utilized for good things as well as evil, bad things. I'm hoping that the world moves the former way. Well, here's Traveling Professor saying bye-bye to you. Do connect with me on what else? Social media, which is Instagram or LinkedIn, where I'm the Traveling Professor. And do let me know how you get on with your life, right? Do reach out to me, stand out, belong, whichever way you want to. Listen to ivmpodcast.com or just download the app to listen to podcasts like these. See you soon.
I hope you enjoyed that show. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Intel, for supporting us. Great week on the network. If you haven't been listening, why haven't you been listening? You should be listening. Rohan Joshi was on Uncle Please Sit, discussed the toxicity of the Indian pop culture. Really fun conversation to listen to. Rajiv Samant, the founder of Sula Wines, was on Cyrus Says. Again, I think that was a fun conversation. Also want to call out the season finale of Yuddha. Yuddha is our military history podcast. Definitely do check that out. It's a really great listen. And finally, I want to just remind you all that, it's a dark time, but if you need a smile, go check out the Smile India podcast by Shifa Mehta. It's in both English and Hindi, and I think that you will really enjoy the kinds of things that she's talking about there. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
How many times have you motivated yourself to improve your sleep or lose weight or be more productive? How many times have you failed? Hi, my name is Ashton Doctor. Tune into my show, The Habit Coach Podcast, where we focus on creating small, tiny habits to improve your life instead of those big, impossible tasks. So make listening to me a habit every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com or on your favorite podcasting app.